to the channel and welcome back if you are a returning viewer. I'm glad to have you here with me. Today I have a fun Bath & Body Works haul for you guys because today Bath & Body Works released part 2 of their collab with Stranger Things, a collection that since they have been teasing, I have been very excited about. Now, I've been on record saying that part 1 of this collection didn't really do much for me because they went with a lot of fun gourmand fragrances that didn't really lean into the aesthetics of Stranger Things that I like personally. Like, yes, the 11's waffles and the Steve's scoops were very much on brand for Stranger Things because of how they're incorporated into the show. But when I think of Stranger Things, I think more of those horror aesthetics that they lean into. So when this collection was being teased and then eventually revealed, I was really excited to see that they were leaning into that scary upside down vibe. So I was immediately bought in. And then along with part 2 of this collection releasing today, they also released some fall 2 candles, of which I have a couple to show you guys. And I'll go over my thoughts on some of the fall 2 candles that I did not pick up, but I did smell in store today. So let's go ahead and jump into everything that I got at Bath & Body Works today. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into these fall 2 candles just to get them out of the way here. So up first, let's talk about Farmhouse Pumpkin and Spice. So this was a candle that I was really excited to see the scent notes of, because if you're a Halloween candle fan, you would know that Bath & Body Works had a perfect Halloween scent in spiced pumpkin and patchouli for the past couple of years. It was one of my favorite fall scents by them of all time. And this year when the Neutrals collection came out, I noticed that spiced pumpkin and patchouli was not among the lineup for whatever reason. And I was really nervous that they were not going to bring it back in any form at all. But I'm very excited to say that it is back in this fragrance. So the scent notes of Farmhouse Pumpkin and Spice are heirloom pumpkin, patchouli, and fall spices. And yeah, this one is just a repackage of spiced pumpkin and patchouli. When I first smelled this in store today, I wasn't exactly sure, because if you've been to Bath & Body Works, you know when you smell something in store, it's kind of mixed in with all of the scents that are going around in the store. So it's kind of hard to get an exact read on what exactly a candle is. And when I first smelled this today, it did smell like spiced pumpkin and patchouli, but it was just a little bit off. To me, the patchouli and the spice were toned down pretty heavy on that first sniff. But the more that I smell this one, the more that I'm just convinced that it is just a repackage, because it smells almost identical to me. If anything, they maybe toned up that pumpkin scent in it, which is not bad because I love the pumpkin scent that's going on in here. I think I do prefer the version of this where that patchouli and spice were kicked up just a bit. But if you are missing spiced pumpkin and patchouli from last year, then Farmhouse Pumpkin and Spice is the replacement for that. I don't exactly know why they would repackage it into this. Spiced pumpkin and patchouli was already a perfect name for the scent that's going on in there. And I'm not exactly sure that Farmhouse Pumpkin and Spice is more telling of the fragrance, but I'm just happy to have this fragrance back in any form because I can't imagine a fall season without it. So up next here, we'll talk about one that I was really surprised by, and that is Pumpkin Snickerdoodle. So this is one that wasn't necessarily on my radar at all. And honestly, this is not even my candle. This is actually my brother's girlfriend's candle, since she went with me to the store today and she was on the hunt for this thing. And if you know me, I'm not usually the gourmand guy, but when we got into the store to smell this one, I was taken aback by how much I really like it. So the scent notes on Pumpkin Snickerdoodle are warm sugar cookies, ground cinnamon, and fresh nutmeg sprinkled with sugar. And yeah, it's just a really nice, freshly baked cookie fragrance. Now, the pumpkin nature of this candle is not really there for me. I think that's more so added in to be a more enticing fall fragrance. But to me, it's just a really nice, authentic Snickerdoodle cookie. You get that nice sugar cookie bakery base, and then tons of that cinnamon sugar sprinkled on top. It's very reminiscent of cinnamon spiced vanilla, but with an added bakery note that is really making this one nice and warm and comforting. I don't know if this is brand new for this year or it's been available in years past, but gourmand lovers out there, you're gonna love this thing, especially if you're a big fan of that cinnamon vanilla sugar combination. And for the last fall 2 candle that I picked up today, we have Harvest Gathering. And I will say with this collection here that included the Farmhouse pumpkin and spice. I really like this packaging. I think the wraparound label is really gorgeous and very nostalgic looking. So Harvest Gathering is a brand new scent to me. I think last year it came out in like a Thanksgiving special packaging in one of those special lid jars. And for whatever reason, I just never saw that one in store, so I never got the chance to smell it. But this year it's back in the standard Bath & Body Works packaging. And it's another one that really surprised me just based off of the scent notes. So the scent notes for Harvest Gathering are fresh picked apple, autumn berries, and clove buds. So along with the label here, this scent feels very classic and nostalgic as well. You get almost like a mulled apple cider-esque scent out of this one. You get that fresh apple, you get the clove buds for sure. And then there's like a tart berry in there. It almost smells like a cranberry to me. This one does feel very Thanksgiving, very much November, fall. It almost reminds me of pumpkin apple if you replaced those pumpkin spices in there with a nice tart cranberry. Really, really loving the classic feel out of this one. I'm definitely saving this one for late fall, as it does have that kind of heavy, comforting vibe to it, kind of in the same way that like Perfect Autumn is kind of heavy and smells late fall. I get that same vibe out of this candle, but I love it all the same. So the only other fall 2 candle that I almost picked up was one called Apple Crisp. I had that one in my cart for a while, but decided to put it back because I didn't necessarily need another apple scent, and it wasn't good enough for me to justify purchasing it, but I did really enjoy it. That one was another like fresh apple mixed in with dusty like oats or oatmeal type scent in there, and just a hint of caramel as well. It was really nice and fresh, and I might have to go back and smell it a couple times and really be sold on it. And then the other ones that I smelled in store that I can remember were the maple pumpkin one, and that one just straight up smelled like Mrs. Butterworth's like syrup. I do love a good maple, but that one was a little bit too like heavy for me. And then I smelled the autumn chai one, and it was nice too, but it was another kind of generic, just like cinnamon spiced vanilla type scent. And then the last one I can remember smelling was the fall apple cider, and I was kind of excited for that one because I love a good caramel apple scent. But for whatever reason with that one, when I smelled it, it smelled like latex or like some kind of rubber. I don't know. I was not getting fall apple cider out of that one. So I don't know if it was something with like the lids on those, or if it was like the way that the apple was mixing in the caramel in there, and I was not really vibing with that. So let me know if you had that experience with that candle. All right, now let's go ahead and jump into the Stranger Things collection part 2. I kind of wanted to match the vibe of the Stranger Things collection today, and this was the closest thing I had to a leather jacket. Thankfully, it was actually cool here today, and I'm not absolutely like burning up or anything. So I did pick up one of each of the brand new candles, but I wanted to mention the accessories here first, because I think that they knocked it out of the park with this collection. The pocket backs, the wallflower of the Demogorgon, the hand soaps, the hand sanitizer, and then those 2 candle holders I think are all very well designed, very much in line with the aesthetic of the show. It took everything out of me not to purchase one of these candle holders. From the release photos, I was kind of iffy on that like oil slick painting that they have, but in person they do look a lot cooler than I thought they would. And seeing them there, they really almost got me, especially this viney one. I think this one is so like subtle and really cool. The pedestal with the actual like iconography of the show is also really cool, but that one is very much in your face, like this is a Stranger Things pedestal. As with the vine one, I feel like you can incorporate that into like other Halloween decoration. There is like a logo on it, but you could just like turn it around and then it just becomes like creepy vines, which I think is a really cool touch. The only reason I didn't pick them up is because I do think they were a bit too expensive for what they were. Like the vine one specifically, if it had like a $30 to maybe $40 price tag, I would have immediately got it. But for something that's kind of a little bit basic for a 3-wick holder, I think that the $50 price tag is pushing it a little bit. And then all of that also transfers over to the other 3-wick pedestal, which is going for an $80 price tag. And once again, if it was at that like $60, maybe $70 price tag, I think that's a little bit more feasible. But because it does have that Stranger Things attachment to it, it does drive that price up just a little bit. And so for those price tags, I personally I had no business getting something like that. So I strictly stuck with the candles this go around, and let's start those off with Eddie's leather jacket. So the scent notes on Eddie's leather jacket are black leather, soft musk, and smoked suede. And yeah, this one is very dark, very moody, almost sexy in a way. Feels very masculine, very biker gang. You get that black leather very, very strong out of this candle. Very smooth leather fragrance at that. And then that's combated with those smoky and woody elements from the smoked suede. And then just a hint of like a body care-esque fragrance from that soft musk. This one almost leans into that cologne-esque territory, but in the way that it smells like a man wearing a leather jacket and they spritzed cologne on it. So I think that it just nails the imagery of Eddie's jacket, and I'm really loving how that smoky note blends in with the leather. And I'm also really loving the packaging on this one as well. It's got like a raised design. It's very textured on the glass here. And then it's got Eddie's electric guitar up here with the Hellfire Club emblem on the back. Just loving the whole package here. And this is the only one that I did not get a backup of, and I'm kind of regretting that decision now because I really, really love this one. And it kind of reminds me of one of my favorite Bath & Body Works fall scents in Midnight Cocktails. Even in kind of the way that the jars are designed. This is last year's version, but it also has that raised like wraparound on it, and both encapsulate that vibe of kind of just like being in like a biker bar type vibe. This one is very metal, it's dark, and definitely on brand for Stranger Things. So just an absolute winner in my book. All right, so up next here, let's go ahead and talk about the Upsidedown. So the fragrance notes on the Upsidedown are mossy stone, smoky birch tree, and eerie fog. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love this. This scent is so cold and eerie and amazing. It's got that like wet concrete smell in there coming from that mossy stone. You're getting hints of a smoky woodiness from that birch tree, and then you get punched with that ozone of that eerie fog. This one just has such a cool, scary Halloween vibe to me. And it's also a little bit nostalgic. It kind of smells to me like when Halloween Horror Nights does like a forest scene and they're pumping in that fog machine and they have a forest tree scent going around. It's got that fog machine essence in there that I'm really, really loving. And I'm actually very surprised by how much I like this, because usually I am not a big fan of birch tree, because birch to me has this like pungent sourness to it that kind of like leans into like cat pee territory to me. But that smoke note kind of cuts the birch tree in here and makes it a lot more enjoyable to me. Now, this is hands down my favorite packaging of the 3 Stranger Things candles. I love the blue and red ombre on the jar, along with the label with the upside down vines. And it's also one of those textured jars with these little like white specks, like how they do it in the show whenever they're in the upside down and there's those like white ashes that are kind of just floating around everywhere. It's just perfect in my opinion. And then matched with that scent, the whole entire scene is there. I'm really surprised that Bath & Body Works, of all companies, really took it there and took this conceptual spooky direction on this collection. Like, big props to them, because this is what I feel like we have all been asking for out of a Halloween collection every year. And while this year they did do that again with the Candy Apple Cauldron and the Spooky Moontini, making those fun, fruity Halloween fragrances, this candle just showcases that they can in fact do a really good spooky Halloween scent. Like, Bath & Body Works, if you're watching, you're definitely not, but make more scents like these. And just a final thing to mention here on this candle, I know a lot of people out there were wondering if this one was a dupe of Moonlit Graveyard from last year. They do have similar scent notes and they do kind of fit a similar vibe, but they are completely different scents to my nose. So if you were looking to buy this one hoping that it was a dupe for Moonlit Graveyard, it's not exactly that, but if you did like Moonlit Graveyard, then I think you would enjoy this one. But yeah, overall on the Upsidedown, absolutely loving this one. And I like the single wick packaging on this. I didn't pick that up because I do not like the Bath & Body Works single wicks, but I think that the design on that one is amazing as well. All right, and last but certainly not least here, we have the Demogorgon. So the scent notes on the Demogorgon are black orchid petals, spicy cedarwood, and dark patchouli. Oh man, these candles have just shown me that Bath & Body Works can do a dark fragrance when they really try. This is so good. You get that beautiful floral from the orchid petals. You get a nice woodiness from the cedar wood along with those fall spices. There's definitely a cinnamon in there somewhere. And then it comes through with that earthiness from the patchouli that gives it a nice, really grounded feel. This was the one that when it first got announced, I saw the scent notes. I knew I was gonna love it. And then when I got to the store, I knew I was gonna need backups of it. It's such a beautiful blend. It's dark, but also enticing and very mysterious. And when I first smelled this one in store, I immediately thought this one so reminds me of Nevermore from Kringle Candle, if you've ever tried that. It's got that same floral note along with the spices, but it's a lot less sweet. I know Nevermore from Kringle Candle is very, very sweet with honey in there. And this feels like a more spiced up woody version of that. And so I'm actually loving this one quite a bit more, but they do smell very similar to me. And this is another one that has that 10 out of 10 packaging for me. It's got the really nice texture on there. Love the label with the Demogorgon standing up here and then the beautiful Demogorgon heads all on the side of it. Just really stunning visually to me. Now, is this what I exactly think a Demogorgon would smell like? Probably not. I feel like the Demogorgon would smell absolutely disgusting just looking at him. So it's safe to say I'm glad that with the direction that they took on this. Yeah, I just can't get enough of this one scent-wise. If you love a good spicy, woody, earthy floral, then I think that you're absolutely gonna go crazy for it. I'm hoping that it performs well. I have not lit any of these yet since I just got them a couple hours ago, but I will be lighting this one up immediately after this video is done. And I'm kind of bummed that this scent is in the limited edition Stranger Things because I think this would be a really good scent to keep around. Hopefully they put this one into the Halloween line next year, because I think that it would work really well for them. So that is all I have for you guys today. Overall, the Fall 2 candles, I was really impressed with most of them. They have some fun classic scents, and I'm really glad that Spiced Pumpkin and Patchouli is back in some form. And then the Stranger Things Part 2 collab, I think they just knocked it out of the park. This is everything that I could have wanted from a Stranger Things collection. I'm so glad that Bath & Body Works was not scared to delve into the horror aesthetics of Stranger Things. The display that was at my store was pretty big, so it seems like this is the collection that they put all of their thought and time into, and it definitely shows. I'm really hoping that this collection does well so that it shows Bath & Body Works that they can in fact do some more dark and mysterious Halloween scents in the future for the people out there who actually want that. Now, I'm not saying get rid of Vampire Blood, get rid of Ghoul Friend, or just don't do any fun Halloween scents. Those obviously do very well, and there is a place in the market for that, but I think it would be fun if while they were doing that, they also threw in a couple of spookier, darker scents just to switch things up a little bit. But yeah, really exciting stuff. Very much impressed with the entire collection. But let me know what you guys think of the Stranger Things collection and if you guys picked up any of the scents, because I always love hearing what you guys have to say. Remember to leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video and subscribe for more Halloween candle content, because you know I have more on the way very soon. Until the next one, I'll see you later. Bye.